Unlocking levels, unlocking levels, unlocking levels. Hosted by Seal the Source. Tap in.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy CL the Source back with another episode of Unlocking Levels. Thank you once again for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate y'all, man. You know it's big love on my part. Thank you for tapping into another episode. And today's episode this week, this is being recorded on April 9th, 2023, which is Easter Sunday. But Friday, 2 days ago, April 7th, 2023, was my 3-year anniversary from when I first created this podcast. For many of those that have been following this podcast since the beginning, when I first created it on April 7th of 2020, 2020 was when it happened, because it was like during the pandemic. Y'all know it started off as Blessed Beyond Measure podcast, and it's now Unlocking Levels as it's seen today. And it's been a real cool 3 years bringing this to you. I've had a chance to reflect and think about this whole journey, this whole experience of bringing these podcast episodes to you and still going, and still having a lot of fun with it too. I've met so many people along the way. I've learned so much about myself and shared as many experiences that I felt the need to share, and just being really transparent with y'all in regards to my life and the things that I'm learning, again, in order to serve and help other people. So if you're listening to this or any other of my episodes, every episode is tailor-made to serve in some sort of way, to inspire, to motivate, to build hope, to build faith, to teach, to share. It's just a great platform for me to be able to do so many things, and it's really introduced me to a lot of really great people who I'm still firmly connected with and still rooting for on a daily basis, man. You know, if you look back in the archives, I've had the pleasure of meeting some real cool people, some very cool people, and being connected with them. You know what I'm saying? So I feel very fortunate. The power of the internet is crazy, you know, because the reach that I can extend myself to is just crazy. You know, I've met people from the Philippines. I've met people from, you know, Houston. One of my best friends, Cam A. Sharp, man. You know, shout out to my boy Cam A. Sharp. And you know, met so many people, folk from New York, folk from Minnesota, shit, man, Jersey. You know what I'm saying? It's been crazy. Folks from my hometown of the Bay Area. And it's just a beautiful thing when I'm able to connect and link up with other people that are moving in the same direction as me. You know what I'm saying? Looking to move ourselves to a better place, understand the importance of having an attitude of service towards the world. And it's just been a privilege to run alongside these folks. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very grateful. Like I mentioned, I've had the chance to really sit and reflect, and also, you know, as I've been kind of living my life, take moments and pockets out of my day to just like look at what has been accomplished so far in these 3 years. You know, sometimes I get caught up in the whole race of things, and I try to tell myself or sometimes I get caught up in thinking like, damn, I really feel like I should be further along. But a big anchor that I go back to all the time is just reminding myself that universal timing is always perfect. You can't rush the process. You got to stick with it, trust it. And so many great things have happened for me. And I feel like I have given a lot of myself to this podcast and to everybody I've interacted with through this podcast, and just on an everyday basis. You know what I'm saying? So I've learned a lot about myself, so it's already produced so much fruit. And I know in due time, it's going to produce the fruit that I imagined in my own mind. You know what I'm saying? I firmly believe that this, along with all of the other things I'm working on, is going to produce the life that I envision for myself. And, I think I've talked about this ad nauseum almost in terms of wanting to become financially free, wanting to change the whole dynamic of my bloodline from my family. You know what I'm saying? Wanting to break generational curses. And I think I've made progress in so many of those areas so far. I know there's so much left to do and so much room to grow. But I think I'm at a place right now where I'm so content, and I understand that it's about the journey. It's about enjoying even the most challenging moments. You know what I'm saying? Because those are the moments that you learn and you feel the richness of that present moment. So you really just learn how to slow things down in a way that I've never really knew how to do before. I was always so, fast paced and things of that nature. Now I still have the ability to go fast paced. I just learned how to change my pace. So I got a better change of pace in what I do. There are times when I gotta hustle and bustle, but there are times where I need to slow down and observe what I'm feeling, what I'm going through, what the experience is, and what I can learn from any given situation. And I think I'm at that place now where I've learned how to kind of pick up the pace when I need to, or slow it down when I need to. And it's been a game changer for sure. So all in all, I say that to say, it's not so much about the destination for me anymore, because I know with the work that I've been putting in, what I envision is going to happen. I have full faith in that. And I'm not going to bat an eye when I say that, because it's the truth. I really believe that. It's something I envision all the time. And I sit with that feeling and I know it's going to happen. And I'm not so focused on that, really. I'm more focused on being locked into the present moment, doing what I'm doing, trying to make each situation better, trying to learn, trying to grow, always coming from that spirit and place of love, you know what I'm saying, to do the right thing with integrity and learn from mistakes, learn from the mistakes of others, and just pay attention and just observe what life is trying to teach me. This experience is so rare. I've talked about this so many times too. You know what I'm saying? Most of the themes and topics of my, top most recent podcast episodes has a lot to do with that, which is just to appreciate life, because this is such a unique and rare experience. And just the simple fact that we're alive and we have consciousness on this plane, I think a lot of us take that for granted. And I, for one, am one of them people that took that for granted for a long time. And I could sit here and say that I still have my moments. I'm not perfect at it. I definitely revert back to old ways sometimes. But with the awareness that I've generated and I've cultivated within myself, I'm able to catch myself sooner and recognize, and again, come back to that anchor of just knowing how unique and precious this life is. So I'm not always trying to be so quick to get to the next thing in my life, right? It's just about really soaking in that present moment and understanding just how precious that is. And, I think in terms of my perspective, what that's done is allowed me to be a much more better master of my energy. And no matter what happens in this life outside of me that I can't control, I don't let that necessarily throw me off course as much as I used to when I wasn't as tapped in and tuned in as I currently feel that I am. And, I may know some shit. I'm confident in what I believe in, but I don't know everything. And I don't think even with 10 lifetimes, 20 lifetimes, I'll never know everything in this world. But the thing is, I'm always open. And the thing is, I am constantly looking for knowledge and truth. So when you're doing that, your whole experience of life. Nothing feels the same. It's like every single interaction, every single experience is new. So, or at least it feels new, and it is new because every day we get to wake up is another chance. It's another opportunity to experience this life. And I always had this saying, the best is yet to come. Because no matter how good it is in your life right now or how bad it is, it's a great way to think, knowing that some of your best days are ahead of you still. There's so much to look forward to, and it's all predicated on what you do now in the present moment. And I know that for a fact. And there's a quote that I go by, which is, the best way to create the future, the best way to predict the future is to create it. And that's what I'm trying to focus on more and more every single day, just through the decisions that I make, the choices that I make, the actions that I put out, the energy that I choose to live my life with, and building these habits and routines and creating structure in my life, and sticking to the plan and staying focused on discipline and things of that nature, I know is going to lead to so many amazing things in my life. So I have to just continue to trust that process. And this episode really is an entire reflection of, and a culmination of 3 years of putting into this podcast episode. Now, for those that have been following me from the beginning, and those that know, I'm doing so much more than just a podcast. I got my vlog going on. I moved out here to Hawaii in hopes to travel, and with the plan to travel a lot in my life, really experience the world and check out different sections of the world. And that's really good too. And I'm also doing a lot of short form content, what I'm saying, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on TikTok, whether it be on Instagram. And it's I'm learning so much about the landscape, and I've developed such a fascination and interest in this field because it's constantly changing, and it allows you to be creative in so many different ways. And there's so many different tools out there that you can use to help you bring about the vision that you have in your mind. And you just got to be willing to put in the time to learn and to make mistakes too, through trial and errors. How you can really learn, and how I feel I learned very well. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that just put myself out there more, taking chances, and not being so self-conscious about what I put out there, because I feel like it's part of who I am. It's part of what I have to give. It's part of my journey. So I have to trust that and just, be my own number one fan. Like I constantly talk about on this podcast, you got to be your biggest supporter. And I for sure am my biggest supporter. And there are times, I have conversations in my own mind, and it sometimes that voice is trying to tell you to back off or don't do something, or like, it's amplifying a message of self-doubt. And I have gotten a lot better at checking that voice and being like, nah, fuck that. I believe in this, and we're going with it. You know what I'm saying? No matter how it goes. And regardless of how it goes, you keep it pushing. So, 3 years into this podcast, it's been a dope ass ride for sure. And I know this is something I ain't giving up. You know what I'm saying? I've, met a lot of people for sure. And I see a lot of people still continuing the path and pursuing something that's bigger than them. And, much kudos and much props to my folks that are still continuing to do that. And I've also seen some folks kind of drop out, started off with a podcast or whatever the case may be, or, pursuing something bigger than them, and either went a completely different direction or just quit completely. And I really haven't heard from them or seen anything new from them. And I don't blame nobody. I'm not pointing no judgment at nobody. All I'm saying is it does take a lot of work to continue to get up and do this consistently and constantly. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're not necessarily seeing any fruits come from your labor. So for those that are still doing it, and myself included, got to give yourself a pat on the back. And I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Good job, Chris. Good job, CL. And I'm having fun while doing this, man. I'm getting more and more comfortable. I've been doing this for 3 years now. So I'll tell you right now, like most of my podcast episodes, I'd say like 98% of my podcast episodes are all off the top of the dome, all freestyle, all organic and natural. I develop an idea of what I want to talk about clearly, and I just go off the cuff. I really just let it flow from the heart, because I want to be as transparent, truthful, and authentic and real and genuine as possible. And that's the only way to do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's, for me, I just feel like I'm stepping into who I am so much more. And with that comes a lot of great things. So, you just got to continue to have fun with this process, trust it. And for those that don't know, I'm also the social media manager for my uncle's restaurant where I currently work at. It's at Primrose Cafe in Honolulu, Hawaii. It's a French-inspired restaurant. We got a lot of great menu items that are centered around our main product, which is prime rib, which is hence the name Primrose Cafe. And I've been handling the social media aspect of that and having a lot of fun creating new content, short form, collecting footage, learning a lot about food, and learning a lot about the culture of the Primrose Cafe, and also impacting the culture in my own way. And I think that we've turned a great corner, and there's always room to grow for sure, but we're in a good space, heading in the right direction. And if we continue this momentum, really, we can take it as far as we want to take it. It's doing really well. The community loves us. More and more people are knowing and finding out about us. So it's all good stuff, and we're really excited about that. It's hard work, this being a family business. I feel like I have way more skin in the game than I ever had at any other company I've worked for. You know what I'm saying? So I'm treating it as if it's mine, coming at it from an ownership mindset versus just a general employee mindset, right? And that's not to say that I was any different at work when I worked for other companies. Those that know me, that were in the line of fire with me, knew that I was willing to do what it took at any job I was at, whether put in long hours, learn something new that I didn't know at the time in order to get something done, fill in the gaps, problem solve, have tough conversations. All of these different things I was never shying away from, even if I wasn't as polished as some of the other people I've worked with. You know what I'm saying? In terms of length of time that they've been working that position, or whatever the case may be, in terms of experience. But for me, whatever I dedicate myself to, it's always going to be done with pride. It's always going to be done with attention to detail, and a commitment to excellence. So that's not to say that I'm going to make mistakes, or that I'm not going to make mistakes, but it just means that my level of commitment is unmatched, and those that know me know that I'm willing to do what it takes. And I've been in some very crazy situations work-wise where things just seem to be falling apart, or the sky seemed to be falling and things were caving in on us. But we huddled up and we figured it out, me and the folks that I rock with, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I developed some of the greatest relationships in my life, with some of the friends that I've made that are considered family to me. And it was that those relationships were forged in the fire. And I say all that to say that just because I'm at a family restaurant doesn't mean that I didn't care about the jobs that I worked at. I absolutely cared. And anybody that knows me will back that. But I will say that being at a family establishment and being with my family, I'm working with my cousin, I'm working with my uncle, auntie, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's different. It's different for real. You know what I'm saying? It's like, um, first of all, there's that family dynamic, right? Where some families, the communication can be a little tricky sometimes, you know what I'm saying? And, when you're dealing with older people in your family, they have a specific way of doing things for sure. And you got your own specific way of doing things too. So on my part, what I've learned to do is take so much of what I'm learning and apply it into what I got going on over here. Because not only am I working with families, so that dynamic can be complicated, but I'm also meeting a lot of different people in terms of clientele, and you have to learn how to adapt yourself to any environment that you work in. So I'm doing a lot of bending on my part, you know what I'm saying? A lot of maneuvering and adapting and adjusting to different people's styles. Playing the role of the observer and trying to learn to the best of my ability who I'm working with, the personalities that I'm working with, and who I'm serving as well, in order to be the best that I can be and add positive value to the situation. And once you realize that you really can't control anything else but yourself, then you become a lot more content in the regard that you don't waste energy on stuff that you can't control. If it's something I can control, I'm going to do my best to control that. If it's something I can't control, you're rarely ever going to see me waste any of my bandwidth complaining about it, stressing about it, arguing about it. It's just going to be one of those things where you come to a point where you're like, oh, that ain't going nowhere. I'm not gonna engage in battle. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna waste my energy. I'm not gonna use my bandwidth to continue to play these games or do something that's not leading to anything productive. So these are all things that you kind of learn as you gain more and more experience, and you commit yourself to studying and bettering yourself. So I'm just learning how to become a better leader. I'm learning how to become a better person. And just every single day, just applying that in all the situations in my life. So with that being said, man, 3 years into this game, this podcast game is wild. It's crazy for me to even say that, for real, that I've been in this game for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know how many podcast episodes I got right now, to be real. I've probably got like 130 something, which is not that much, to be real with you, especially in the span of 3 years, because there were, looking back at it, I'm not gonna lie, there was a couple of lulls in between where, I wasn't recording as consistently as I know I should have. And that's just looking back at it, in hindsight. But there are no regrets. Everything that happened for a reason. And for me to continue to keep coming back to this really tells me, more than anything, that I have a love and a passion for it, that I'll get it done regardless of what's going on in my life. Like, I got a lot of stuff going on in my life right now, and I'm not saying that for any type of sympathy or pity from you. I'm not trying to throw a pity party. What I'm really trying to say is that even with everything that I got going on, I've committed myself to this because this is something I truly love and I truly enjoy. Getting on here and getting on the microphone and sharing myself and sharing my experiences, sharing the things that I'm learning in order to serve, in order to make things better for anybody that comes across my content. And I'm having a lot of fun while doing it, y'all. I mean, actually this week I plan on going back to some of my very first few episodes back in 2020 and just really listening to myself and spotting the differences and almost measuring the growth. So I'm excited to do that. 3 years is a long time. That's over 900 days, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's like over 1,000 days for real. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that I'm still here doing it, and it puts a big smile on my face, and I'm really happy to be here still. And I'm continuing to challenge myself to keep growing, keep going, similar to what I tell y'all folks all the time. Keep going, keep growing. You know what I'm saying? Grow through what you grow through, and just keep learning. There's always room for improvement. Keep getting better. That's something. Those are things that I abide by. Something that these are like. That's like my North Star right there. You know what I'm saying? Just keep going, regardless of what's going on, and learn and adapt yourself, evolve. You know, practice discipline, make good choices, make good decisions. And man, I'm still learning. I'm always gonna be learning, and I think that's the fun part. To be real with you, is just learning and growing, and you can feel when you actually, you know, move the needle on that. And I felt that, and I continue to feel that, which is really dope. And I'm gonna continue to keep challenging myself to get better. And y'all really helped me do that, because in order for me to expand my reach and to serve more people, I gotta be better. I gotta be better in terms of my discipline, my focus, my attention, my commitment, my preparation, my organization. All these different things will help me get to that next level. And that's what this podcast is all about, man. Unlocking levels, getting to that new level. So, man, if you made it this far with me, not only at the end of this episode, but all the way here, and you've been following me for quite some time, man, I fuck with y'all. I really appreciate y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's love for real. And I'm so happy to be able to continue to keep doing this for y'all. This is a privilege. And for anybody that's showed any love or type of support, man, words can't even describe fully how much it means to me. It's like, damn, folks really listening to me, folks really out here looking for me, which is really dope. You know what I'm saying? I do this from the heart with love. I'm not really making no money off this. You know what I'm saying? At least not much. And I just appreciate y'all rocking with me. And it's going to get to a point, I know it, where I can do this and learn how to monetize this even more, so that I can create a life for myself using this platform and the other platforms I've created, and just stay in my creative space where I'm just giving you all that I got, and finding a way to make a living off of it. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I guess with that being said, that's all I got for today's episode, man. I just really wanted to bottle up some of the feelings that I got over the course of this 3 years, share some reflective moments with y'all, and just like let y'all know, man, it's really all love from the bottom of my heart, y'all. Like, for real, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and I'm gonna keep going and keep growing for y'all, and keep sharing everything that I'm going through. So appreciate y'all for tapping in. It's your boy CL the Source with Unlocking Levels. Make sure you hit that like and drop some comments. Hit that subscribe if you ain't already doing so. And if you love this episode, man, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and then tell that friend to tell another friend, and tell them to tell some other friends, because that's just only going to help me and help this podcast grow even more. And man, 3 years in, baby. 3 years in. It's your boy CL the Source, y'all. Big love.